Okay, yeah, so the subtitle is Getting Off to a Good Start and Having Fun. So, how many of you, by a show of hands, since I don't have audience response in my talk, does anyone in the audience have a new job? Ooh, shy hands, okay. Awesome. Congrats, Mariam. And anyone looking for a job? Excellent. But for those of you who have a new job, awesome. First step, celebrate. Not only is this the first official job for most of us, but it's an incredible, colossal achievement to finish your training. We're not talking about a 2-year or a 4-year stint. This is a 14-year journey for most of us. So treat yourself, because honestly, you deserve it, and enjoy your graduation because step 1 is complete. This is also a great time to thank the people who helped get you there. Simple thank you will do, but put your own personal touch on it. And you should probably take your parents out to dinner. Then do whatever you need to do to refresh and reorient. Get your old MCAT study mix out because you want to be pumped for the next chapter. You want to dive in to work. So to really hit the ground running, you want to do some legwork first. Whatever you can offload before your first day on the job is going to help free up your headspace and minimize distractions once you're started. I can tell you from personal experience, don't underestimate the stress of relocating if any of you are moving. You will need to be honest with yourself and have a later start date so that you can get yourself settled. Ask about your relocation funds. Many times the employer will have a preferred moving company. They'll pay directly. You never even have to deal with the reimbursement. It's awesome. And find out when those funds expire. Mine were viable for 12 months, so I rented first and bought a house, and both moves within the year were covered, which was great for us. There are a lot of logistics to work out if you're moving, but even if you're staying in the same place, we're just at that age. People are starting families, and you may be looking at a different, at investing in a house, property. So you may even have a house to sell. Researching childcare needs, or pet care needs, all that takes time. So let yourself sort out how you're going to get to and from your job. All the little details will help minimize the headache. Then ask about the onboarding process at your group. You may find that they have a very good process that they can explain to you, but if it doesn't sound like they have much, or if it's not as robust as you would like, then come up with a process of your own. Figure out which sites you're going to be working at. If there are multiple, you want to visit as many or all of them that you can ahead of time, and figure out the nuances of the schedule. Call and who else is on staff with you. Familiarize yourself with the group's protocols, the types of studies that they do, the equipment that they use, just so that you can help identify any gaps in your own knowledge. If needed, you could probably take a course ahead of time. Your group would be happy to cover that additional training so that you can basically hit the ground running when you join. And having coffee with some of the key people that you're going to be working with can tell you a lot about the organizational culture. When I first started, my university invited faculty to have breakfast with the president and CEO, and not a lot of people showed up, but I did, and it was so eye-opening. I ended up getting a meeting and some committee opportunities after that. So don't pass by those opportunities. And if they don't exist, create them. The group would be, your partners would probably be happy to meet up with you ahead of time and see what you're like, and you get to know who you're going to be working with. Your professional network can be a huge help in your transition. I've come up with 3 key mentors, and some are harder to find than others, but if you can get all 3, in my opinion, that's the trifecta. So when you're the only attending in the room and that inevitable nightmare complex case comes your way, you're going to want to have a speed dial mentor, someone to answer the bat phone. And so hopefully it's someone whose judgment you value and someone who is also accessible and responsive. Maybe you take a picture, obviously no PHI, and send that their way, and you get a quick text back. So helpful in the beginning. A Jerry Maguire mentor is probably the toughest mentor to find, but can have a huge impact on your career. This is someone who's going to be a champion for you, and usually someone who's very well connected, someone who can sponsor you to get to the next step. Don't be discouraged if you don't have this mentor already. This is someone that you can be looking for, and don't think small. Think of really anyone, anywhere. The third is the co-pilot mentor. This is your work buddy, and they just make your life and that transition so much easier. Your co-pilot doesn't have to be in the same group, but it is awesome if they are. And this is someone that you can collaborate with and just vent to over coffee. By the way, 2 Tom Cruise slides in a row is purely coincidental. So you will be busy when you first start your career, but make it a point to set some goals for yourself and set them early. Both professional and personal and family goals I'm talking about. And write them down, because that will help motivate you. This can be your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan, your 1-year plan. Doesn't really matter, just that you're thinking about it, so you have a roadmap for where you want to be going. Obviously, you're going to want to celebrate when you get your first paycheck, and you absolutely should. But you should also know what you're going to do with that money going forward. So just my 2 cents, you're going to have a talk about finance right after me, but iron out your budget. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, whitecoatinvestor.com has a lot of really good information. Or if you're someone like me, the money is best spent with a great accountant and financial advisor to help you navigate. When you get that first paycheck, very good advice that I got was to understand it soup to nuts. What is each line? What's supposed to be there? What is there? So you can identify what's missing. I've heard of people not getting paid for call that they were taking, people who didn't have their new baby on the benefits. So it's crazy what HR can miss. Just trust. You can trust, but verify. And crowdsourcing is a great way to get any and all kinds of advice. Just take it with a grain of salt. But this is a great way to find out by talking to others who are new in their career, particularly in your group, what are some good benefits options locally, who are some good resources. This is how we found our all-star CPA. And then get it together. By that I mean, if you're really serious about this, now you have, a job, money, maybe a house that you want to protect. Now's the time to sit down with an attorney, and especially if you have a family, get an estate plan together, figure out asset protection. This can vary a lot based on states and tort reform, but you do now have something to lose. Don't let that paralyze you as you start your career, but these are just some things that you want to get ironed out at some point. And then life and disability insurance. Everyone says get your long-term disability while you're in fellowship. I think that is good advice. I did that as well. If nothing else, just want you to leave with the thought that when you start your first job, you want to make a good first impression. First impressions are so easy to maintain when they're good and so hard to get over when they're bad. So just keep in mind when you're starting out, you want to be seen as a positive person, a team builder. Sometimes that can be hard when you're the new person because you come from potentially another institution. They do things differently. Try not to start every sentence with where I was before we did it this way. Look for ways to give that positive feedback that will make people feel good about you. So give kudos to the techs and your coworkers. Say, hey, great call. I saw you had that really difficult case, and get to know them. In the beginning, also, very good advice that I got and something I learned the hard way as someone who tends to be an undercommunicator is take pains to be transparent about what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it. It may be obvious to you, but realize that as the new person, you need to build that trust first to make it clear what your intentions are. And it definitely worked in my favor. So also, help out your colleagues anytime you can, whether it's a trade, coverage, whatever you can do, because anytime you can help out, you make a friend. And that's someone who could potentially help you down the road. I'm not a Tom Cruise fan, but I am a New England Patriots fan. And in the beginning, I know a lot of people are excited about their new jobs. Just focus on your clinical work and don't overwhelm yourself with a lot of side projects. Even if you're a world-class problem solver, resist the urge to fix everything when you're brand new. Just sit back, take notes, and go with the flow until you build that trust, and then you can do your thing. No one is necessarily going to remind you to do a lot of the regulatory stuff in radiology until it's due or past due. Either way, then it becomes a you problem. So as far as you can in advance, try to get all of your licenses started. There's a process of fingerprinting and background checks and hiccups along the way, so figure that out as soon as you can and take your exam on time. It'll hopefully be the last exam that you ever take. Woohoo! And then you can focus on maintenance of certification and continuing your medical education. It's easy to do. You just need a system and you have to do it on a regular basis. So figure out what works best for you, and you can try different things along the way. This is just kind of a broad overview, but some people love reading articles, and if you do, you can get credit as long as you go online and answer a few questions or do an evaluation of the article. And all the major journals will be giving you credit. You can also get credit if you have StatDX, maybe through your group, or you have funds you can buy it. There is a CME add-on that'll give you 0.5 credits. These are Category 1 credits for every search. So easy way to get that. If you're in academia, let academics work for you. Every tumor board you attend, participate in multidisciplinary clinics, faculty development seminars, all those can be counting. Just set up a file with your CME office so that it's going on your transcript. And make sure you sign in anytime you attend these. Another pretty popular option is the Destination CME. Here is a lovely resort in Costa Rica that Penn Radiology is having a course at next month. And a lot of the big players, Duke, NYU, UCSF as well, have these courses, all of which are in lovely places. There are family-friendly options, Disney trips, and great way to get multiple credits at one time. For the DOs in the crowd, you can get your AOA credits through AOCR. They count towards your AOBR and for your state licensure, so prudent to go to one of these courses. Major radiology conferences like the one we're at, whether it's in person or now there are many virtual options, is a great way to get your CME. I personally love the case of the day. And then you just need a way to keep track of them all. CME Gateway, if you've heard of that, is a great resource for collating all of the big groups. So you get your credits in one place for them. If you're in academics, your Office of CME is going to be able to print out transcripts for you and just keep record of those. And any strays, just have a file on your computer. If you can kind of keep track of your category 1s and your SAMs, that's helpful. You need 75 over 3 years. 25 of those should be SAMs. Or now that they have essay CMEs, those cover all the bases, category 1 and SAMs. So if you just focus on getting all of those credits, you'll be good. And then keep an open mind. I think we're programmed oftentimes in medicine to tough it out, even if something isn't a good fit, but it's important to realize. So be checking in with where you are and where you want to be, and understand that your path may change, and that's okay. The first job for everyone is not necessarily their forever job. But you are developing your habits every day. They're being ingrained. So start practicing some wellness now. I know that's a huge focus at every conference is burnout and wellness. But in radiology, we do a lot of repetitive work. We're at our workstations a lot. And studies show it's important to have these micro breaks in your day. So tell yourself when you get through X number of cases, or after about an hour of time, you're going to take a minute or a few minutes to do something else. Stretch, get a cup of coffee. In the chest reading room at UC, there's a mini putting green. So it's a great way to break up your day. Work on your putting stroke. And don't eat at your desk every day. This actually, studies show, increases your mortality. So if for nothing else, do it for your own longevity. And it really does help. Reset you. You come back for the second half of the day and destroy the list. And then, yeah, it seems like a no-brainer, but take your vacation days, enjoy them, and truly unplug, even if you're just staycating. It's important. And then as you learn more and get better at what you do, maybe see others who are struggling, reach out, pay it forward, give a talk, write a paper. We can all learn from each other, and we can all get better. Really, we are in this together, believe it or not. So with that, I say good luck, and go out there, get busy saving the world, and just try to have fun doing it.